Okay, I'm going to try to portray on this whiteboard the high pressure defense. And the high pressure defense is best used by teams with a fairly high IQ for lacrosse, and where all 8 defenders, including the goalie, are fairly athletic. This doesn't mean they have to be great stick handlers and outstanding athletes, but they have to be fairly athletic and fit and above average with agility and quickness. Okay, in this defense, defenders will pressure the ball outside the 12 and slide early. Communication is critical because high pressure can also leave big holes in the defense, which can be exploited if the second and third slides aren't coming quick. In this walkthrough, I'm going to use a fairly generic offensive set to demonstrate how pressure is applied in the critical aspects of defensive positioning. The first situation I'm going to focus on is a challenge from the top of the 12 meter. Whenever a defender gets the option of influencing the direction of attack, she should choose to position her body and stick to encourage the attacker to go to her non-dominant hand, typically the left hand. That said, it's important that her adjacent defenders are communicating with her as to where her help is available so that she can focus on the attacker with the ball and take that attacker to the nearest help. So the nearest help may not always be to the left. In this example, the defender is able to influence the attacker to go to her left. She's doing it by coming out at an angle and keeping her stick upfield to the left, forcing the attacker to move in to that side. Now, as soon as she shows that she's going to attack, the first slide needs to come, taking an angle so that she can intercept that attacker as she comes in with her defender to the arc. When that happens, the next attacker off ball is immediately going to want to cut. And because of that, as she cuts, the second slide needs to take an angle that's essentially tangent with the 8 meter and pick her off. Okay, now what typically happens with defenders is they don't get there in time, so the attacker is able to get in ahead of her, and the defender is typically chasing. When this happens, there's a real problem that ball might be thrown inside, and then all of a sudden you have an unbalanced situation or a man down situation essentially behind the double team. We can't let that happen. So what has to happen is as that attacker goes to cut, we have to get in front of her, cut her off, and make her back cut this way. Now if we do this, we're going to be able, what we need to do is this defender now has to become a face guard on this attacker. She should not even look at the ball. What we'll have had in the past are a lot of times where this defender is so afraid that the pass is coming that she turns her head and looks at where the ball is, and then the attacker behind her gets wide open, and then we have the same problem. Ball going into the middle of the 8, which is an automatic score. Okay, so we can't let that happen. She goes with her the whole way, face guarding the whole way, locked up, man to man. Now the rest of the rotations on our team are pretty much third slide, up to cover the next off ball, slide across the arc, and slide down. And we're going to let this attacker on the total off ball side, essentially we're going to cover her with this one defender covering 2. This defender will cover the attacker behind, and in case she decides to cut to the middle, she'll have to come pick her up and pick her off there. Again, anytime a cutter comes through, we're going to jump in front, cause them to redirect, slowing them down and getting on their stick. Okay, but this is essentially where she'll be. All right, when the offense and defense, and I apologize, I can't move my circles all at the same time, have to reset when the attacker is clearly backed out and intends to distribute the ball. The doubler needs to drop in and look to see where the open mark is. In this case, she's going to come over here and mark this attacker, and we're going to wait for the next challenge or wherever the ball moves to, if it cycles over and then cycles behind. Okay, and then we'll worry about what's going to happen with the ball behind. Let's say the ball starts from behind. Okay, let me reset my dots a little bit here for you. Ball starts from behind. This is where Mason does things a little bit different than some other teams. Okay, as this attacker challenges and tries to roll the crease, our help usually comes from low. Okay, and this on-ball defender's job is to get her stick and body upfield and force the inside roll. We want the inside roll to come, but we don't want it to come too early. So we want this defender to hold about 3 seconds, but as soon as this attacker attacks at the goal line extended, we bring the other defender, we slide down, and again on the off-ball side we leave this attacker alone to be covered by this defender who's also covering here and here. Alright, so we bring the double and we force, we force the ball out. Again, what you're going to have is probably a cutter coming back even though she's still marked, and if she is, again we want this defender to face guard her as she comes through the whole way, never looking back to the ball. As soon as she does, I guarantee you that ball's coming in. Alright, so she stays face guard, and I like to call it stick guard, stick to stick, on that attacker as she comes in. So we bring our help from the bottom with the second defender. And if she backs out, gets ready to distribute the ball, the doubler will come in, look for who's open. Alright, we have an open player over here. She comes back over, and we have a challenge from this side, or the ball continues to move and move and move. Now I know offensive teams aren't this static. I can't show you all the permutations of this play, but that's the general rotation on our high pressure defense. The keys are attack outside the 12, slide outside the 12, second slide tangent with the 8, and cutting off the attackers so that you can face guard them through the arc, so that the doubled attacker can't have an easy pass to the inside. Typically, one of these double teams, wherever that ball ends up, is going to force a loose ball, a ground ball for us, and then we clear it and get out of this end. I hope that's clear. If it's not, email me. I'll help you figure it out.